even see here. Okay, so this is us. Yeah.
Oh,
Hello.
We could probably.
Hi.
There we go.
Hi.
Lean in. Yeah. We can probably do.
It's cool. It's crowded.
Yeah. Just gotta poke your head in.
True.
Dan was making fun of me last time because I was leaning to like
Getting moved?
He said it looked like I was guarding my food.
Oh my
Yeah.
god.
Nice. Nice.
So he said that if somebody didn't steal my food this time, they would steal it.
Oh my god.
That's good.
Well, you don't have any food to steal, right? Get up.
Right now.
All right. Like most meetings, start a little bit late.
Maybe.
Video call is full. All right. How many is it? How many did we make? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. All right, cool. Do we have Gam? Is he recording? Yes, good hamster, right over here. That's what Gam stands for, guys. Hashtag deep lore. You probably didn't know that. Yeah, G-Ham. Okay, excellent. And you're recording? Everything's good there?
Am I at all audible, or is this just not working at all?
I
I
hear
can
you.
hear you, whoever that is.
Yeah, sounds fine to me.
Yes,
Oh, cool,
sound good, video good. All right, well, if the recording breaks, it's your fault.
You fool.
All right, I'm going to turn us a little bit to me so that I can, I don't know, kick us off a little bit. Let me pull up the things that I put down to notes and things like that, fun stuff. I could, yeah, I could go sit down at the bottom, but then I can't touch the screen. Oh, I see. Okay. Let's see. I got a few things here. Obviously, we could talk about the next season that's coming. We could talk about the season that is ending. We could talk about lore / meta discussions. We can bring that up, which is good times.
You need to go to the top left corner. Oh, hang on.
Say that again. Yeah, so I think what we'll start with is a kind of a welcome. This is kind of ridiculous, as it usually is. But what's, I think, not there's no excuse, and it's not really an easy excuse, but we didn't do this last year, and that kind of sucked. So I'd like to not do that next year, meaning actually do it. So we'll talk about kind of scheduling mudcon 2021 and like how we want to kind of pick how to do it, what time to do it, what time of week and stuff, and figure out maybe some things for that. Yeah. Let's see. Welcome. Yeah, this is a good time. So I'm happy that it's the second one. We've got. No. No.
Oh, that's right. We didn't do one.
Yes. Right. Well, and we didn't do one before 2018. Yeah. We've got new faces here. We've got some old faces here. KB, raise your hand. Taking new players, taking new players' money since. Yeah. I mean, he had a resurgence for a little bit.
Yeah.
There.
He pops around.
Yeah. Let's see. So Chris is here. Chris, wave for everyone in the camera, and say something, maybe an unmute so that the screen goes to you.
Yep. Okay. If I speak, then it is my face now.
You did it. Congrats. Well done.
Hi. It is actually really nice to put players' names to faces and things. So hello, or avatars, alternatively. Yeah. Anything other than text, basically. Great. Love it. Pictures, amazing. Incredible.
So, yeah, that's Chris. This is where all of the magic happens, mostly. Also, you are seeing a portal to where all of the hack mud work happens on my end. This laptop right here, do not even watch it. Yeah, that's right. Anyway, yeah, okay, cool. So stuff I've got on the list here. Why don't we start with kind of just some high-level stuff about Well, I don't know. What did people like the last season? Do people like seasons? How about that?
Yeah, I like seasons.
I like
Like coming through.
seasons.
Who was
That
that?
seems like a good idea. Yeah.
They're pretty cool.
Yeah, I mean, I like content for video games.
Yeah, okay. But content can
Content's
come
cool.
all kinds of ways. Okay, great. Good talk, everyone. Good talk.
Yeah, excellent.
Good
Game
discussion. I
design.
think we
Yeah.
came a lot. Came
I
out with a
think
lot of stuff.
we
here.
really aligned
You see the
there.
messages that are being sent?
Oh, no,
Hangouts?
not yet. Hold on. You pull that up. Okay. Yeah. Comments from the audience are important. If I can click on them.
Excellent.
Okay, let's see.
Really insightful commentary so far.
Wait, so it's silent. Did somebody say that there were comments? Because there's not comments.
You gotta,
Oh,
like-
great. Okay, let's try again then.
There's
Yeah,
like a
yeah,
button
I'm
you gotta
seeing
click.
Coming through.
I can see the comments.
There's a button you gotta
I'm seeing
click
those.
on it before
Thanks.
before it shows
Thanks
like
for
all the
making
comments.
More complicated. Thanks.
No problem.
Okay.
I think the answer is that you need to be good.
I know. I'm trying. I try to get good, but then I don't do so well.
I like the concept of like regular content updates in the form, and then wrapping it up in little puzzles and stuff. That's pretty cool. I liked last Rubbervat Revolution, except for a couple points in Catesby, like the electric deionized water and shit. Ooh.
Yeah.
Is that how it's pronounced?
Ooh.
I've been pronouncing it completely wrong.
People are learning how Catesby is pronounced. Excellent. Great. Good.
Wait, how is it pronounced?
I think they were learning how
It's
electric
like
deionized is pronounced.
Okay. Cool.
That's good.
So we're a little divided on the true pronunciation of Catesby, whether that was like well known or not. You know, that's
Yeah.
the good discussions of our time. No, thank you. Yes, last season we didn't have a lot of time to test it. So you know, this
I
time
mean, there's not much there to test.
when you finish it the day that it releases, then there's a little bit
dear.
of stuff to test. Yeah. So we
Oh,
didn't
dear.
have the time. So we learned something.
Yep.
Yeah. Let's see. So excellent. So that's a good kind of segue. We're
Are you allowed to reveal how Percy worked now, or
how
because
who?
it's
How
still-
Percy works?
how Percy worked? Because it's still kind of up in the air, sort of how Percy worked mechanically.
Percy was the board game thing, right?
Here goes Chris. Chris is
I
unmuted.
would say that it is too soon to say how Percy works. There's gonna be a running theme with me that it's always too soon to reveal anything. But I think there are some mechanics there we might return to. So I think it's worth figuring it out. Probably. I mean, Sean, you might disagree, but like I think there are still mechanics there for people to figure out necessarily. I don't think the entire possibility space was mapped. Put it that way.
Yeah,
Interesting.
there's stuff to explore. Like if you don't know how it works, then you're not done with it.
I see.
Percy was like the top-down, really odd board game thing, right?
No, that
No.
was Fox. Percy was the
that was
fighting
Fox.
thing.
Oh, that
With the
right.
puck.
Oh, fuck that. I didn't like that so much.
That's probably
I didn't get it.
okay. Yeah.
I think everyone really liked Fox though. Foxnet was really good.
Yeah.
Foxnet was
okay.
cool, but like it kind of I felt a bit out of my depth for that one. I gotta say.
Right. Well, good news. It's not the last time you will see packbots.
Ooh, excellent.
Yeah.
Oh, nice.
Yes. It's vague hint number one. Yeah, this is my agenda. If you wanted to see it, kind of vague hints
Screenshotted.
on the agenda there for the crowd out here.
Did anyone get the
yeah.
screenshots?
This is my
Yeah, I've got it.
I said he got a screenshot.
excellent.
Fantastic. That's going straight into mudcon 2K20.
Yeah,
I
so
can't
other
put
big
images
hints.
there. Fuck. Clan foil.
I think most people who weren't cooperating on Forks were doing it unintentionally. Like most of the time it was just people who didn't understand it and they'd fuck it up and everyone else would yell at them and then they'd just stop.
Did it,
What a way to progress.
Or flooding Big Pot with a bunch of trash upgrades to try and stifle the vote.
Yeah.
when did that happen? I think I missed that part.
Yeah, everyone did.
Well, I mean that's kind of a question. No one's yet answered how they felt about it. They kind of just talked about what happened, which is fine. I know what happened. But like, was anybody? I mean, other than it being annoying, was anybody upset by it?
Well, I would say I'm upset. I'm not actually upset, but the vote was rather emotionally charged, it seemed.
Yes, I'm
Even
laughing.
though, like, it's ultimately just like fucking deciding like which Roomba's going to control the next revolution. People got really into it.
Good.
I mean, I got really into it.
Great. So what's, I think, and this is a good kind of segue. We're asking about design and mechanical considerations of the actual thing. So here we are today. I'm a human. I'm a real person. That's Chris.
Allegedly.
Yeah, it's true.
You are?
You can't tell. Even if you peel my skin, it's very lifelike. Chris is a real human, and
I am. Yeah.
yeah,
Also allegedly.
true.
Yeah.
We're for all intents and purposes human. Yeah.
That's the most law you're getting. No, yeah.
Yeah, right. Exactly.
I'll commit to that.
Good. Okay. Good. But when people are, and this is kind of what came up before, when we're talking through the design of how this all works, here in this setting, it makes it, the line is hard for people who want to suspend their disbelief when you have basically the equivalent of the open internet of people talking at each other and have different opinions about how to process, whether things should be talked about at one level or another. And it's going to be an ongoing debate, so we're not going to solve any of that stuff. But what I want to say is right now, we're going to talk meta, and we're going to talk about our process and how we make some of these decisions so that we can do a better job, right? We're trying to make a world that is super deep and awesome and cool, but we do make it. It's, but lore, hashtag lore, Chris and I do exist in the lore, and we are discovering.
Oh, DTR's going to be happy about that.
Say
You
again?
said I was crazy.
Yes, the DTR's going to be really happy about that.
Yeah, I'm sure. In the lore,
Hey, hang on,
Chris
do I
and
exist? I think this might be the first time I found out that I exist.
yes, you
That's
exist.
an extremely hackmad sentence, but yeah.
Well, I mean, to the best of my knowledge, you exist. Anyway, the point I'm trying to make is that in Loreland we are discoverers of this code and this space. And when I do work on the client front end of HackMud, that's me in real life. But in Loreland, it's me opening a portal into the game for the rest of you guys. And similarly, Chris is discovering and uncovering truths that we construct and shape for you. Anyway, it's a whole thing.
Spectacular
I mean,
application.
that calls into question sort of like what us the players are in the lore. Like, are we just parts of Trust Big Machine experiencing what it was like in the mud, or are we just explorers looking through old shit that people have already covered?
I can give the answer to that, Sean, if you don't mind. That is something, and I hope this answer doesn't sound like a cop out. That is something that I personally have always been very keen not to overly define, because one of the I think things that's central to the game is that you sort of establish your own identity, and I think that definitely there is some points where you're whoever you've chosen to be in the game doesn't necessarily have access to all the information that you might have, depending on the point of view that you want to adopt. But if someone wants to establish that they, in the context of HackMud, they are a VAC, or they are a sentient of a different kind, or they're a human accessing the system from the outside, that's kind of up to you. And the notion is that the possibility space is there for you to define that, because if we does that make sense? Like, we're not trying to pin it down too much.
Yeah.
Like, I have a behind the scenes answer to that, but the notion is that don't know how to close the door. So that if someone has decided and spent years building an identity for themselves in the game, that is their identity.
You don't want Word of God to screw that over.
Right, yeah, I'm never going to come along and say, oh, actually, you were this the whole time. Why
Yeah, you don't want to fuck with people.
Maybe
like that.
when the game is no longer supported.
Yeah, like one day I'll open up my Google Drive. But like, but nonetheless, like a big part of it is that, I mean, ever since players left the VLAN, they established that identity is a fairly fluid thing in this network, and usernames can be very fluid, and every part of your identity is very fluid. So it would be anti the themes of the game to lock down or suddenly surprise you with who you were the whole time or something like that. Hopefully that makes sense.
Yeah. We get to discover ourselves in that case.
Indeed.
Yes.
So we're on a journey of discovery.
It is.
Well, yeah.
Me too.
Especially Sean.
Yes, no, I'm the most on the journey to self-discovery. Awesome. Anyway, so that's what I wanted to kind of do there. What was the original thing, Gam, that we were talking about before I went off on my tangent about that stuff?
We sounded like we were talking about the previous event and some like scope stuff and how certain the systems were reacted to. I don't want to step on another's question. Was that basically what we were talking about?
Yeah, I think that's what it was. Yeah. So so for the previous event, we just scoped it too big. It was too much content for you guys. There was just too much going on. And so this event's going to be a lot smaller and more action packed. And so you'll really want to be around and available for the weekend, because it will end after the weekend.
I mean, I just want to say
the
cliffhanger that Robobex V4 left us on is got me almost excited as the sort of like conclusion to Truster interface, because like we're suddenly getting core and future tech and these like corps that largely have been ignored in the lore, and now they seem to be extremely relevant because like these operators are suddenly referring to them. And it's like, what the fuck's going on there? So I'm excited to see what you're doing with these summoning keys.
Yep, and the great part about that is that's super exciting, but like, oh my god, there's so much good stuff. Yeah. So I can't spoil it. So you just have to wait.
I think maybe one thing to point out is obviously we're saying that this one is definitely 100% intended to run a weekend. I would say, and I'm confident in that working this time. I would say that I fully anticipated Kate to be solved within a weekend, and that is the most wrong I have ever been about something. And I think one learning there that we're kind of taking forwards and definitely hearing people on is that those sorts of we kind of refer to them as puzzle dungeons sometimes, but those sorts of very kind of lateral or kind of very, very hard sort of verbal reasoning puzzles, things like that, probably won't.
I mean, we were only really stuck on like 2 points.
A few of them, but it's all it takes, right? That's the point, right? With something like that, there's no mathsing it out. People either hit the leap or they don't, and that's fine. There's no judging it in advance. I think the thing that I certainly learned was that putting that stuff in the center of the critical path is a bit risky. Whereas to contrast something like Big Bot, which was off the critical path and was basically an Easter egg. It worked better in that.
We found that by accident.
Like stuff like the NPCs hidden around in Vax V2, like with no grub and stuff. So like you can have more difficult parts of the content that's not exactly the main part that sort of acts as side quests and it's more rewards in forms of NPCs and all that.
I think what might be
even that event had a pretty tough logical leap near the end with Submarine, but that's a while ago, so I'm sure you've learned from that.
I think what might be quite nice is more like actively competitive event sort of things, like maybe something with teams trying to Like maybe things with two teams actively solving different puzzles to reach the same goal or something like that could be quite interesting.
So, Sean, I think you can speak to this a bit. Like we different events that have happened have had variously competitive or uncompetitive elements, including sort of sometimes rewards that are only available to the first people that find them. And I think one thing that we've learned, Sean, we talk about this all the time, but like sometimes that can create that can prevent people from sharing their findings as they go, for example, and that has the effect of locking people who are just coming to the event maybe a few hours or a few days late out of progress because no one's necessarily sharing the things they know.
Yep.
And that can be desirable and not, depending on what the tone is or the point of the event, something like that. I don't know if this is. I wish that you could I wish I could give you my mute button, Sean, in case this is too much information. But that is something we're thinking about a lot, and the next event will answer that a bit in terms of making sure that people have a chance to catch up, that people can get left behind.
Yeah, so we're actively, the most important thing to us is that players who show up at any time during the event can actively participate and have a great time. And that's something we've been kind of focusing on with lately with events. Now, obviously, we've done competitive events in the past, and they've been people have been upset. People have also had a great time, but in general, what happens is some people have a great time and most people do not. And what I'd like is for us to have more of a system that's more opt-in for those kind of activities, where anyone who joins that kind of event understands that they're probably not going to, how do I say this? If they're joining late, they're going to be out on competitive edge a bit, depending on if it's like a lot of the events that the communities run where you can actually catch up, right? Like that's totally viable, right? But I, can't make any commitments, but I do have some ideas and some space for those kinds of things within a full season. So the event, the competitive portions would start at a certain time in the season, and they would end at the end of the season. And that's all I can really kind of share for that, because if I share any more, then you'll hold it to me and then not hold it against me.
I think maybe one other thing to add to that is it's not always, I don't think it has always worked to mix competitive stuff into storytelling necessarily, or stuff that, not that, that the two is totally differentiable because of the nature of the game, what we're doing day by day in the game. But if it's good, it's good to see when people are in like the puzzles chat or something talking about their theories and what's going on, and if the puzzles themselves provide a reason for people not to do that and to hoard that information for themselves, that can kind of be interesting, but it can also make it harder to get into, and it's already a big game, many different moving parts, so making it as accessible as possible is
I've noticed more official content taking very cooperative lean as of late, and you sort of have are leaving competitive stuff to player run stuff, because necessarily player events can't really be cooperative because the rewards they can't be lore, because only you can provide that lore. So we have to provide physical rewards, which results in player events being competitive, and as such, official content seems to be taking a cooperative skew to account for this.
Yeah, I think that's a fair read. It's not to say that we would never do a competitive event that had lore ramifications. In fact, I think we've talked about some ways that might happen, but I would want to make sure that it was always alongside an offering that allowed people to participate in a fair and kind of accessible way without necessarily being related to their experience level with the game or their position within the community or anything like that.
Yeah. So anyway, there's next event will be competitive and cooperative and good times. And complicated. Yeah.
Good stuff.
So, Sean, I'm happy to talk to that because I think it's really kind of interesting.
Yeah, go ahead.
That, I think, obviously, the fact that vote became the way the vote was interpreted, the way it was taken, the way it developed, the way the community ended up taking it was kind of wild. And I don't obviously, if anyone is sort of like upset at any point in the process, that's bad. But in terms of how the community chose to make a decision, there's no wrong answer there. I would certainly say we didn't anticipate it, right? Not that it's unanticipatable, but that is kind of the point of a system like this, is to just throw something down in the middle of the room and see how people take it. And in this case, the fact that, I remember, John, that you and I were talking about like how much value those glams would be perceived to have because you're swimming in them. But eventually there will be the last one, and that will be an interesting moment. And the notion of getting you to burn glams to vote for a vacuum cleaner, perfect, right? Like this, that's fun in of itself. But no, in terms of the way it was actually worked out, definitely didn't predict it to the extent that I think I can say that we were, I was legit waiting on the outcome of that vote to know fairly major things about what comes next.
The vote was really interesting because, like, you end up creating perhaps the most massive mass glam in all of Hack Mode and then immediately provide a sink for it. So, like, the players are controlling the supply of that glam and what it might be worth in the future. I'm sure no matter might. It might be worth something.
Maybe. I mean, like one day. That's what I'm saying. Like one day there will be the last.
In fact, it might come back in a future event, and oh shit, we're all out of no matters. That's gonna be annoying. Like,
I can say the outcome of that vote legit matters and will have consequences, like sooner than you think as well.
Yeah, like in a week.
yeah, consequences in a week. So yeah.
So probably around the same amount, time that you think. So as far as just that design and the decisions there, voting is interesting. Waiting for you guys to decide is kind of hard for us in our schedule. So, we'll, because it does have real impact on what's happening next and what's happening in the future. So, anyway, what was I going to say? Yeah. So that was a thing that we did. That's fun. Let's see. I'm a little sad that we don't, that the speakers aren't loud enough that we can all participate. But we're going to have an awesome party without you guys right after this call. And in fact, I brought a bunch of swag from I basically brought the merch store in a box over here.
How much it cost us to get here? We could practically buy it up.
Yeah. Right. So you will get some for free, suckers. Yeah, no, I'll be handing out some stuff. Don't worry. Yeah, so there's Vegemite, there's Marmite,
Tim Tam.
there's this, which is really delicious. Yeah, we'll get that on video. All of the
Yeah, come on, Sean.
Yeah, we got a whole slew of tasty.
Chris, I'm sure you brought your Vegemite too, right?
Oh no, I didn't.
You better have.
I've left it.
Okay, you're the worst, Dev.
Awkward.
That's a shame.
That was never in doubt. Let's be honest.
Oh, spoons, great, good. I'm gonna try one of these because we're starting to. Yeah, exactly. This is a eucalyptus bonbon here, which will probably be really nice. It's winter weather. All right, here we go. That's good.
Rest in peace.
No, it's sweet. It's nice. I thought it was gonna be a lot. No, I'm not putting that in my mouth together. This is not happening at the same time.
Wait, what did he try?
That's a spoon of Marmite.
Yeah, do it with
Don't put
Vegemite.
that.
Oh no. Oh no.
Did Tukib actually bring spoons?
Yeah, absolutely.
I mean, there's probably spoons there.
We are in an establishment that has spoons.
You gotta bring like the special spoons though.
Yeah, the non-contaminated spoons.
I am
Ritual
not.
spoons.
This eucalyptus thing is really great, by the way. I'm a huge fan. I am not putting this in my mouth at the same time as eucalyptus drop. That is just not happening. So we have to take a little pause on that.
If you do it, I will buy 50,000 bits right now.
Oh my goodness. This is a dilemma. Somebody just offered me to buy 50,000 bits in the store if I do eat this
Do
with
it.
the
Do it.
the eucalyptus.
Uh-huh.
Do it.
I say do it.
Do it.
Oh my god. Wait, but you have to do it first and I have to confirm the purchase.
Ah,
I know
all
how
right,
this
fine.
works,
Let me get my credit
you
card.
hackers.
Damn.
You can't hack me. Okay, you
Yeah,
probably
send half first. Like, eat half of the
What, you're
spoon.
gonna walk off and leave your laptop again? What you need is soda water.
with
Is
this
it- No, it's a palate cleanser.
Oh, in between, sure.
Yeah.
This was actually good with the
I
eucalyptus drops.
The eucalyptus.
With the LMP.
Oh yeah, I bet. So good.
I haven't used this.
Oh, thank you.
All right, we've degraded a little bit. Take a little break from stuff. If once Matrix confirms, I will yes do it. But
All right, fine. So,
I will do it if you can confirm somehow.
It's very salty.
Just email me your Steam thing.
Add a hat that costs 50,000 bits to commemorate this.
Say what? Yeah, no, yeah, we'll add a hat for this. There will be a hat to commemorate this moment. It won't
I saw on
cost
the bottom right of
50,000
my
bits.
screen that Matrix started hack mode.
Oh no.
Oh no.
This is exciting. Okay, let's see.
So salty. Yeah, it's definitely not bad.
Oh, I'm hot dog. I'm good. Thank you.
Oh my goodness.
Like I said, the only thing I haven't seen is discontinued cleaners. I've never seen it put in a little portable cleaner. Oh, I think those are specifically for people like yeah, they can do this.
Okay, so let's see. I heard some people found some files, some files on the internet, the hack mode internet. What do we? Yeah, what do we know so far?
I don't understand fragments. That shit's too big brain for me.
It's too big brain.
Okay, so
Yeah, it's too much. I can't take it.
okay, Sean, I have a transaction ID for you. Fucking do it.
All right. Well,
I'll DM it to you on Discord or something. I don't know.
yeah, just DM me on Discord. I'll look. Whoa, 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 whoa! Watch it. I'm not sharing my screen right now.
Oh,
That I told
damn.
everybody
Look at that.
about already.
Look at that! Spoiler alert!
Look
Look at that! Only people here can see this. It's pretty amazing. My private DMs.
This is what social engineering looks like.
Yeah, that's right.
Sean, what's up, mudcon?
Yeah, exactly.
They even made it that way.
I'm really happy for him.
I hurried up. Matrox. Martok. Yep, there it is. Okay, cool.
Yeah, could you do something like that? Hell yeah. Let's go.
That's
You
enough.
have to have another eucalyptus drop first.
I believe him. Wait, I have to what?
You have to
A
do it at
fresh
the
one?
same time. Yep.
Fresh one? Okay.
Okay. Uh-huh.
Oh shit.
Whatever. 2. Fucking doing it. Doing it live.
Hell yeah.
Here's another one. Okay.
Yep. Yep. Confirmed. Witnessed.
Oh, do you want, do you
There
have
it
some
is.
way to get-
Hell yeah. Let's do this.
All right. And I still have one in my mouth.
In the Marmite?
No. Just go on for it. It's for effect. This is being recorded for posterity. So.
Okay.
All right. So I'm
Yeah.
just gonna lick.
Difficult to do. You have to take the whole thing on
Uh-huh.
a spoon and put it in your mouth.
All right.
Alright, this
Give me a spoon. We're getting serious. I'm sure this is.
Oh, that explains a lot.
Yeah, this is not the worst thing I put in my body. Definitely.
Yeah, I tried to post a couple.
All right, here we go.
Oh Lord.
There it is.
God.
Yep.
Delicious and nutritious
Mhm.
vitamins. Vegemite. There we go.
Oh dear.
Yep. Okay. No, Bob,
Oh
stop.
no.
Hey!
Why were you
Witness.
talking? I couldn't get to see it.
Oh, God.
Oh
I
yeah.
saw it. It looks great.
Hey there.
Uh-huh. Yep.
Yeesh.
What a nightmare. I didn't know I was going to throw up today, but okay. Just for posterity, there is a glass of water right here. I am not drinking it
Matrix, was this worth the bits?
because I
Yes.
love you guys.
Because I get user
man.
slots out of it too.
No amount of bits could get me to do this again.
Really? Done?
If I had 1,000,000 bits, I would buy you another one of these. I don't know.
A car made of Vegemite.
Yeah.
Wow, what a combo. It was almost as bad as the time that I had chicken wing ice cream in Japan. Wow.
That sounds delicious.
It was until all the ice cream melted away, and then it was just chicken skin.
Oh no.
It was,
Yeah.
it was like, I fucking love both of these things, chicken and ice cream, and no.
Yeah, not together.
Chris is just regretting life right
Yeah.
now.
Okay, cool.
My brain was just going, I'm really glad we're not launching a season tomorrow.
Yeah, might be dead tomorrow.
Well,
Chris has to pick up the pieces in a week.
just me. Yeah, okay, cool.
Blech. Okay, cool. Great. What else do we have on the list?
Yeah, this is taking a
Yeah,
detour. I
you know,
apologize.
questions about a
No, I
video
would
game?
like
that's
some
cool,
water.
but- or dares. That's kind of what we're saying.
My mouth is now completely empty of Vegemite.
Not empty enough, though, I suspect.
Okay, a little better, a little better. Okay, that's fun. That was fun. That was fun, guys.
Was that Jake?
No, that was Marto here.
Yo.
All right.
Hello.
Yeah, thank you. Yeah, you're officially on par with Jake's memery as far as
Amazing.
spending money to get memes. But not bits. That was who did that? I think that was Caitlin who had 2 billion for Japes. I don't remember exactly, but maybe. All right. What we're working on next? So this next season, due to a lot of different reasons, is smaller so that we can kind of get into more of a cadence with the game and actually not basically get into a cycle of promising and then under delivering and then catching up with that and then doing it again in the next season. So so this season is all about the event. It's very focused on lore and content and about whatever stuff I can squeeze in quality-wise in the game besides that. But something came up when Chris and I were talking last, which is that basically everything that we've worked on in HackMud since the beginning of after launch has been bug fixes. Every new feature, every new part of the game is really just to address something that made the game less fun. And I think that's what's going to happen for the rest of this game. So if you see a feature, if you think it's a feature, it's probably to fix something that you all are all complaining about.
Like T4.
Right. Well, so content is also a bug fix. Not enough content.
I mean, in this case, like the T4 spawns seem.
No. It's literally a bug that's filed, that you filed, and that is in my inbox and is waiting for me to work on it. Yeah.
The endlessly increasing stack.
Well, and what is funny is that HackMud is this insanely complex combination of things. It's this crazy system that I don't actually understand. Like, to be right honest, like it is almost as much lore in reality as it is in the fiction, because like, I mean, to be honest, the people who have the most users in the game affect the game in a way that is unpredictable in a lot of cases. It's just honestly, like, the way that you guys fight around T4 might contribute to why, like, I don't know, because I haven't even investigated really yet. The event definitely probably had some impact on why T4s aren't spawning, just things like this. but it's honestly this crazy machine of that is so deep and complex that it's hard to fix things in it, and then they become whole systems in themselves to fix the systems that aren't working, and then the system gets more complicated. Anyway, hand waviness. The reason why I bring this up with our cadence and everything is because one of the biggest focuses that I have for the game is retention of players, re-engagement of players, and getting the community to be more, we have a strong core community here where people will leave and come back. They'll, there's a lot of, I think it's the right kind of interaction with the community that we already have. But new players turning into community members doesn't happen that often, right? It's just, that's a very slow, like the number of copies of the game that are sold where a player had a great experience with the game and then didn't keep playing, they're missing most of the game. Most of the game is these like ridiculous events and playing each other's content and, getting really deep into lore for, just randomly,
Yeah.
right? Oh, I'm a new
Like
player.
a lot of people, they'll come out of the VLAN and they'll be like, okay, what do I do now? Okay, well, we've got this new bootstrap thing. All right, we're finished with that. Now what do I do?
Right,
Oh,
right,
I
exactly.
don't know what to do. Okay, I'm going to stop playing now.
Right, and the honest truth is there's so much for everyone in this game on the other side of that, and it is our job to do a better job of not capturing, but like engaging and providing support for them, and
Yeah. Showing off what this game is capable of.
and so there's a lot of different halves to this. There's the visibility from the outside world into the game. Like if I'm wandering around on the internet and I look up what is HackMud, maybe I'll see a write up on Rock Paper Shotgun about what it was at launch, which is very different from what it is now, and it's very different from what it's going to be in a few weeks. But there's nowhere that I can go other than the Discord and like watch people talk about what's happening right now to find out like, well, what's the game like right now? What do you do in HackMud? What is HackMud? Like, why should I care? And that's its own kind of problem. But the other one is that even when you're playing HackMud as a new player, you don't know what's going on really necessarily, right? You could be off. Yeah, especially as a new player, you don't know how any of the systems work. You don't know why you would want to be engaged or anything like that. So these are the core really important things that I think the game needs to be worked on, and it includes, of course, features for everyone in the game, especially those who would keep those people around, which is you all, right? Engaging with them and helping them to understand like this is how you lose all your money. This is what creating an event for each other looks like and means like, but to have some purpose where everybody has something that kind of brings them together and sometimes opposes each other, but in teams. Anyway, not to get too deep into that, but that's coming later this year, or that is the biggest focus, and this event. And the season was going to be the start of that rollout, but that work is coming after this event, basically. So that we'll be starting work on that and stuff. Let's see. Yes, yeah, I saw your question. Go ahead. Yes, right. So, Bubman, I don't know if you guys heard that. This parrot over here, it's a cockatiel, I think.
Yeah, hi.
You get him to talk. Was asking if T4 upgrades, if there was going to be more content there, basically more PvP stuff going on. And the answer is yes and no. More content across the board is part of that idea of giving players something to work for. And when I say work for, I mean a new player something to help with. Right now, I think a lot of the sorry, there's just memes in the chat over here. The part of the core problem with the game is that, well, and I'll just say it like this: people feel like there isn't stuff to look for, to mine, to go hunt down out in the world there. And that perception is yeah, a lot of reality, but also it can just be a perception that prevents people from engaging with that part of the game. Digging around in NPC corporations is kind of like a known set, and all of these other systems kind of take precedence. Fragment hunting, events directly, other random stuff in Riskland. But I think the majority of that is that there isn't a lot of content, and there isn't enough content behind the NPC farming kind of veil.
Right, because like once you solved a corp once, you then automate it, and then you're kind of just sort of done with that that style of corp.
And you may not even farm it anymore once you've got it to the point where you could do it at any time.
Yeah, like I don't think I've farmed any T3 this year. Well, I guess this decade rather. But I've just sort of been coasting off of GC that I've already obtained a while ago.
So there's a fine line there between. I saw your question, Jake, by the way, and to just answer it very quickly, the question was, what's my favorite piece of HackMud right now? It's definitely the gardening that you guys don't know how to do at all.
Oh God.
So, but half of that is only just to incent you to try and figure out how to do it. It was a lot of fun to make. But to answer that, yes, T4 is important and planned, but I think the plans for that outpace you as players in stuff that you can go figure out. So as long as we're making that stuff as deep and as complex as the fragments are now, because there's enough stuff ahead of you, that there is work at different tiers for different levels of play. So that new players would go into T1 and there would be stuff for them to discover and find that would be valuable to players at a higher tier. This is always the intent in the design, was to have different tiers of reward.
I feel like you kind of wanted to do that when the Usenex drought happened, right after 2.0 came out. Then you kind of stepped back on that and just fattened up the NPCs with data check.
Well, so that was definitely in that direction, right? Being able to have Usenex, but the problem is in the depth of the puzzles of the NPCs at that tier. As long as there are more puzzles than what you can automate reasonably, you have to choose as a person writing code against each of the 4 tiers, which one you're going to spend time solving stuff in. But, you know, time is not infinite, especially my time. And so the best laid plans are still plans and not in action. But I do have a pretty strong confidence that as those spaces get more complex, that the game overall will benefit from it, because there will be more activities for everyone to do and more interesting types of puzzles that are ongoing to solve. But anyway, that's just like neither here nor there, but the kind of an answer to Tier 4. Yes, there will be some more Tier 4 stuff, because we only have one lock in like 3 years. Or something like that, right? Like, it's crazy. Anyway.
Yeah, so Locket came out in 2017, then Data Check in 2018, and we've got nothing since then.
Yep. And most of that has been because, well, one, I had a child for a little bit there, which took up at least half of my time, and then I got a job. But anyway, long story short, in priority order, these things will be addressed. And they're all kind of part of the same push and system, which is to nice scam. I don't know if you guys saw that.
Yeah.
There's the important thing is giving stuff for everyone to participate in and providing value from new players as well as old players and their engagement. So, yeah. All right. Well, let's see. What else do I got here? Boring the audience.
Just seeing if it's possible for me to share my answer to the question, what's your favorite thing in Hackmid at the moment?
Oh, Chris wants to answer his favorite thing.
I would like to, I would answer that question, but I may have to share my screen so I can make sure that all my windows are closed. That might also. Just a sec. Oh, I can share an application window. Yeah, it's not something I made. It's just this.
Oh yeah.
This is favorite
Thank
thing.
you. Whoever did this, it's.
You're welcome, Chris.
This is well, thank you. This is a hard game to explain to someone who doesn't play it, and it's a hard job to explain to someone who doesn't understand video games development, or even if they do. And this doesn't help, but I do love it. So there's that. So thank you. That's my favorite thing. I'm gonna close that now, so that I don't open the literal text window that has this event in it. But yeah, no, totally.
Yeah. So I'm just going to explain it over here real quick and
Shall I hold it up again?
Yeah, just put it up on your screen.
Okay, hang on. All right.
Make sure to close the event.
Make sure you, not the other window.
Not the other one.
So this image was made, and Chris likes it a lot because it's very hard to explain HackMud to other people. And this doesn't do a good job of it, but it's really fun. Yeah. And like this stuff is, I don't know. I was reading stuff that Chris wrote on Tuesday and was getting very emotional. I don't know. I'm super excited. Yeah, I'm super excited for like all the things that we've made so far. Obviously, it's always going to be behind our expectations, ours and yours, of where the game should be and could be. But just had a moment of being like really proud of just the lore and the weird crap that we do, and like just right, exactly. That's about everything. Yeah, exactly. And so anyway, that's
I was gonna further to the previous point, John, I don't know if it's worth saying, but this needs to kind of provide additional, more interesting, ongoing puzzle solving and things has informed the way events are designed as well. And it's kind of why we were getting a little bit cagey about, is Percy fully solved, or is Forks fully solved, or any of those things?
Right.
Is that those are more like systems, right? They're not finished yet. They can be certainly improved and expanded on, but one way potentially
got 2-4 NPCs.
Right. No, that's like, but what I'm saying is one way to think about it is obviously the events have like a storytelling payload and a kind of community kind of getting together and solving something payload, but they also serve as a test bed for mechanics. And sometimes the mechanic it not work. Teapots. Leave it at that. Sometimes it does, and then when it does, it's something we can work on in the future. Basically, that's the thing. And then the advantage to you guys as players is that getting a good grip to those systems now, the more you learn sooner, puts you maybe at a competitive advantage in the future. Who knows? So yeah, that's a way of thinking about it. Is that fair, Sean?
Excellent. Great. Yep. Nope. Totally. Good. I think it's probably a good time to call it so that we can get to our party over here, where I hand out free stuff and people go crazy and wild, and and then we eat more delicious things and less delicious things. Oh yeah, that's a good call.
I'm not doing that on camera.
No, recorded on camera. But yeah, anyway, we Chris and I are super excited for the event. Just like for you guys to see it and just like the payoff, and there's so much good stuff. From last season, there's big stuff. That's how I'm gonna say it. I'm just very excited, and we're super thankful for all of everything that you guys do, and and like just how you engage and how we can have conversations and kind of work through this
You're all
stuff.
nuts too.
It's true, you're nerds.
bunch of nerds who drink.
So
You're a nerd.
you're enough of a nerd to go out in real life to Seattle and meet this.
Yeah. Yeah, well, these are nerds. You're jealous nerds.
At least I'm not here eating Marmite.
Who don't have free swag. Well, neither do they yet, but they will. They will. They will.
We have swag.
Yeah, well, I paid for my swag.
Exactly.
I don't think I knew what the opposite of pay to win was until I watched Sean eat that Vegemite.
Yes, yeah, pay to lick
one
the
wins.
spoon clean. Not happening.
Oh God. Not that kind of game, Sean.
Okay. Yeah. Yeah. Anyway, that's all I've got. We'll do some more stuff offline. I think we'll do kind of a vote or something, some kind of survey or something for the next MudCon. Try and get more people into locations together if people are interested in that, with a little bit more forewarning and things like that. Anyway. Uh-oh. Yep. I guess we're done here. We're running out of space to record this. So anyway, thanks so much, everybody, and I really appreciate it. And one of these goons over here is going to post the recording so you can share it with your friends too.
Yeah, that's right, goon.
Anything you wanted to say
goon.
before we closed up?
No, just obviously lovely to talk to people. I will hang around Discord for a little bit after this if anyone has any extra questions or anything like that. But otherwise, thank you for your interest in all of the robot nonsense.
True.
Oh,
Thanks.
it's a pleasure. Absolute pleasure.
All right. That's it for us here. See you all on the internet.
See ya.
Bye.
Goodbye.
Oh, that's that then, I guess.